Are you saying, I mean, when you say some of those things, you have to ask, are you referring to the incumbent governor? Is that what you're saying he does?
Well, let me say that I like him. He's a gentleman. I like his style. I think that his members of his party, but I think that the problem really with that party now is their brand. What has become of the brand? They failed to recognize that their brand champion in 2007, and I make boast to say it, was Babatunde Fashola. Over the last 8 years now, they have suddenly brought that brand personality down. They brought him a little bit away from being the face of their brand. They have started pushing up Bola Tinubu and a few other cowboys. And what will happen is this. Listen, even when we were going to lose in Ogun State in 2011, before we lost that election, we knew immediately Fashola was 1 year in office in 2008 that, hey, there's a challenge here. Because
why did you lose that election? Because if you can tell us, sorry, Mark, if you can tell us now off the cuff why you won Ekiti, there must also be why you lost in Ogun.
No, I'll tell you why we lost in Ogun. We lost in Ogun because the former governor, His Excellency Governor Daniel, unfortunately, was bedeviled with a lot of challenges within the party, and the party split up into two. If Ogun had not split up into PDP and PPN, there's no way they can defeat us there. But we split up into two, and it affected us very seriously. But now the house is coming together. New people are on board. Younger and vibrant people are driving the party. And let me tell you what's likely to happen in Osun, so we can predict in advance. You see,
you're predicting
in advance. We can predict Osun in advance. The election has not been held yet. We can almost predict.
But before you go into Osun, all of what you've just said is also the same thing with the incumbent in Osun, so it would be very difficult for you to have that kind of prediction sway your own way, because if you talk about people who are a people's person, that's the candidate you also have.
Because Osun election has not come yet, it will not be professional as a campaign manager myself to give you all the tactics that we're using there. But I can tell you, we are feeling it already. You see, we may pretend as politicians when we have lost an election and start screaming, blue mud, that we were cheated, this has happened, that has happened. But we will begin to suspect the way the election will go about 4 weeks before the election.
But don't forget,
miracles don't really happen anymore.
They're not going to sit back and fold their arms too. They're listening and watching. Where
that's
do we get it wrong?
That's why we're not telling them. But I can tell you something. There's a song we have in PDP now, especially PDP Southwest. I will just say the lyrics without singing it. We always say, APC, get out of the road. PDP is a bulldozer. If you stand on the road, we'll crush you. We don't mean it in the form of violence, but it's because we know that we have a very tight machine now. We have a tight machine. We're very committed. Our positions are clear. Our leader, who is really driving activities in the Southwest now, especially for the party, in connection with some other younger people, they have reduced the age of those who finally take the final decision. So when you have 50-something-year-old men, kind of in the middle of the 70-something-year-old men connecting, you know that a lot more people can connect to them.
You know, I have two questions supposed to, but I think I will start with the. You're looking at your time. We're going to start with the very first one. You're looking at the elections in Ekiti, and you have also said that, you know, your man connected with the people. You've talked about how you guys deployed resources to win the elections. Do you think that you put yourself in dire straits? Because you do know that when you're campaigning, when you're wooing people, it's very different from when you're finally in office, when you have to take some of those hard decisions.
Experience.
How do you think that you're going to balance it?
I have 100% trust in Ayodele Fayose. I know him personally. He is not, he is a man who has learned from the experiences of the past. He has not been outer space. He's been within the space that he can see what is good and what is right. The extra thing he brings is experience. If you come to an office, you've been there once, Fayose did not get booted out of Ekiti because Ekiti people wanted him out. Fayose lost out and got emulated out of Ekiti the other time because powers that be with the old order can suddenly wish that somebody should just move, and he will have to move by force. But the society has evolved. The democracy has moved. There's been an improvement. Don't expect Fayose to get to Ekiti now and start not performing. He's going to perform and perform well. He knows how to manage the civil service because he's worked with them before. He understands the language of the teachers because he speaks their language. He understands what the student wants to hear because he's even young at heart.
I go back to the canvassers. Sorry to cut you there, because when you say you moved in with your
machinery, with the Southwest mobilization and contact machine,
kerosene,
all of those
things were given. Some would say you actually bought the votes.
Well, if you say we brought the votes, you should ask the people that are in the other party that what exactly do you expect people to do with brooms? If it is the rainy season and bring out an umbrella at least to prevent you from getting cold, what are you going to do with the broom in the rainy season? It's part of the politics of this climb. We have not developed to the level that we will say, oh, go ahead and just gather 1,000 people and be speaking to them from morning to night without providing them with water, providing them with food. Who's going to see?
If you give me rice and kerosene and even a pot to cook that meal,
yes.
Tomorrow you refuse to fix the roads.
Why would we refuse to fix the road?
If the conditionality clause there, if you refuse to fix it, then I don't have any
No, we will fix it. Let me tell you, we will
to hold you to account because you've already fed me, and it will seem as if
don't see it that way, Sulaiman. Don't see it that way. Whatever it is we say, the people say we give, and we know we give. It does not equate itself with the emotions with which we connect with them. We're not giving them so that, did we force their hands to tithe? Did we force their hands to vote? We give them to let them know that once we invite you over, it's no point asking you to sit down for 10, 20 hours with us, helping us to be jumping up and down and saying you are canvassing for our party and love. What we tell them is that we've done it before, we can do it again. The good times are back again. The PDP is the party that knows how to do comprehensive development. We would not import works to foreign companies that will not cascade and down and make it go to our people. Anywhere you see construction in the world, it's supposed to be the most active and the most vibrant economy because of its multiplier capability to create jobs. But what have these cowboys been doing? They have been pretending as if we're fools. And the Southwest is no fool. Our people have seen that you cannot lead the Southwest. Because
twice you've used that word. Do you have cowboys in the Southwest?
Well, when we see, it's a phrase we like to use for the APC and the members of their team in Bodilon. We call them, they call us another name that may not be too nice, but we call them a nice name, which is like, we call them cowboys. The reason why we call them cowboys is that they just go, amen, amen, amen.
I think the APC will be better. Let's call them what they are, the APC.
Yes, we call them the APC, but they also know that we call them cowboys.
What would you say to those who think that, who are asking, wait a minute, was this election about development issues or connecting with the people? What were the real issues?
Maybe they didn't listen to Fayose and they didn't see his manifesto and they didn't see his contract to the Ekiti people. The reason why they are connecting with, don't be deceived. Do not try to claim that maybe there's a fireman somewhere who is so sophisticated and obeying and there's one Jaguda somewhere. It's not like that. We're talking about a former governor. We're talking about somebody who has been on that seat, who has provided. We're talking about somebody who has connected even when he was on the chair. We're talking about somebody who got the sympathy of the people because of the way he was muzzled away. We're talking about somebody who retained his connection with them. So they're not bringing an amateur who doesn't know anything about government back into government. They are saying, wow, when these people, APC or AC and whatever they call themselves at that time, brought their change, we thought it was going to be life abundant for all persons. But as a result, we have now seen that it is just for them and their cronies. Therefore, we would rather bring our man back. Somebody on your screen was speaking in Yoruba. She said, we know him. He is a good son of ours. He can never disappoint us. If he had had a history of disappointing them, they won't be that enthusiastic. And when the other speaker was saying he's putting too much emphasis on conceding, what can you do when you've lost a 16 local government and in almost every polling booth?